And another event taking place. We've been joined by a couple of guests in the studio to tell us all about an evening at Brindle St Joseph's Parish Hall in Brindle with a real Lancashire flavour to it. Welcome along to Mick Gardner and Keith Slater. There's no official titles as such for you to accept. You're both parishioners that do, or considering you're pushing on a Lancashire Night, we'll change that to folk that do. Perhaps it's all happening tonight. Lancashire Day, of course, next Wednesday. A whole load of events taking place on BBC Radio Lancashire from Monday, but your event is tonight at Brindle St Joseph's Parish Church. What's got to be going on there then, lads, tonight?
Well, we've got quite an event planned tonight. It's been going for some time, and we've got an evening with a programme covering about 10 different slots. The idea is to celebrate Lancashire Night, because for quite some time we've been doing barn dances and attracting people for those things, but this is a change of direction. So what's going to happen? We're going to start off with the Lancashire Proclamation. We're going to declare our loyalty to our Majesty, the Queen, and the Duke of Lancaster, of course. And then we get going with music, folk music from local fellows. Mick here is going to get well into the Lancashire dialect with a number of poems that's going to entertain us quite well.
How long have you been doing the dialect then?
This is my first performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it take a lot to do it, to get used to it?
It's just another language. I did quite a few languages when I was at school. I know it's a long time ago. So it's just, getting my head around another language, really.
Is it dying out, do you think?
I think it is, yeah. Although there's quite a lot of dialect verse still being written, but I prefer to sort of focus on the traditional stuff. The stuff I'm going to do is written by Samuel Laycock in the middle of the 19th century. Though I might do, if I've got time, I might do a modern one as well.
And how important is it, Keith, would you say, to celebrate Lancashire's rich heritage?
Well, it is. It has got a rich heritage. There's a tremendous number of things in Lancashire that are unique. My attachment to Lancashire is emotional because this is where I grew up, and you travel around, but you come back again. There's certain things that you look for. Maybe Blackpool Tower, maybe Burnley Football Club. It's there, and it's all part of the centre, isn't it?
Nice, that isn't it? Passenger Holes on BBC Radio Lancashire. A couple of guests with me, Mick Gardner and Keith Slater at Brindle St Joseph's Parish Church. There's a Lancashire Night tonight. Lancashire Day, of course, on Wednesday. Big week of events on BBC Radio Lancashire celebrating the county. We've been hearing from Mick and Keith what will be going on. You've also got to think, Keith, some cloggers and some folk music and talks going on as well.
That's right, yeah. We've got three ladies who call themselves the Mannequin Birds, clog dancers. They come from Lancaster, and they took some finding, but eventually we were recommended to them because they performed on the Harris Flights in Preston, on the new wooden steps that were put there for some time. So they're coming along, and we're looking forward to seeing that. And after they've finished, that's when we get into the Lancashire hot pot and the parking, and
there we are.
Maybe some apple pie and cheese.
Lancashire cheese, yeah.
Will you have done any of your readings by then, or
mine will be done and dusted? I can relax after that.
You can have a full stomach after that, can you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
You brought something along with you this morning. You're going to read a couple of verses.
So I can keep me powder dry for the rest of the night.
You don't want to reveal all.
No, don't want to give too much away. This is a poem called Bolton's Yard by Samuel Laycock, who was a dialect poet writing in the middle of the 19th century. And it describes the area of Stalybridge, which is now in Cheshire, but it was then in Lancashire, the area of Stalybridge where he lived. At number 1 in Bolton's Yard, me granny keeps a school, but hasn't many scholars yet, who's only one or two. They sent their woman's raid across, well, it may be so. I know who boxed me really once and pooed me ears and all. At number 2 lives Widow Burns, who washes clothes for folk. Their Billy, that's her son, gets jobs at Wheeling Cork. They send who courts with Sam and Eds that lives at number 3. It may be so, I cannot tell, it matters nought to me.
You were on a roll there, weren't you? More of that tonight if you go along to Brindle St Joseph's Parish Church. How many people are you expecting tonight then?
Well, we've got a limit of 80 because of food and that, and we've just got a handful of tickets left.
I mean, for those who do like to celebrate the rich history of the county, I mean, it's a great warm-up to Lancashire Day itself, this, isn't it, on Wednesday. Fun, though, the main agenda of the evening, would you say?
Oh, yes, well, it's going to everybody to enjoy themselves and take part in the whole programme. as well as what we've covered, the Lancashire dialect poems and the music in the first half. We've got a nice talk on history, a local history of when St James, the King James, came to Houghton Towers. There was a tremendous banquet put on, and one of our friends is going to talk about that, the whole menu of that medieval banquet.
When you've had your hot pot and your parking. Listen, well done.
Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed for joining us and sharing that with us this morning on BBC Radio Lancashire.